Well, sorry about that. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Got into a little discussion with the employees here and didn't realize the time. Now, hello everybody. Chokdi to everybody for today. Sawadee Kap, all that good stuff. Before I even get started, I want to say thank you to Mr. Sky Trooper, who for some reason I neglect to give a shout out. I don't know why, maybe because he doesn't really chat all that much, but thank you very much. I haven't forgotten about you, but I did forget to give you a shout out. So there's the shout out for the day. Thank you very much to my Patreon patrons and to all those who contribute to the channel. I appreciate it. All the information is down below. If you're a new subscriber, thank you very much. Or if you are an old subscriber, thank you for tuning in. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for signing up again. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Click thumbs up and all that good stuff. Now, we got a lot to go over today. A lot of stuff is happening. Yesterday, today I was thinking, I think maybe, I was planning on going to Khao San Road next week and just seeing how things are. Seeing, how empty it is and go down and walk around that area. And then I thought to myself, well, I'll go today. I was thinking this yesterday. I thought, I'll go today. Then I started thinking about it, and I thought, wait a minute, today is the day where there are protests. The pro-democracy protests are taking place. But what I didn't know is that, I didn't remember, is that, wow, thank you very much, Sky Trooper. Thanks a lot. Chokdi, cheers, and all that good stuff. I was thinking, maybe I'll just go down there today. But the protests are taking place in the Democracy Monument, which is right down the street. I really don't want to go there. I thought to myself, nah, that's not a good move. What I didn't realize is that yesterday there were people that were already set up. I forgot all about that they set up early so that they, people come from outside of the city and they come and they set up and they just sit there and wait. And so apparently some of them were shooting paint at the police or something like that, blue paint. And 21 people were arrested. Now, if you don't know, today is the anniversary of the 1973 uprising, which I didn't know what it was called, I'll be honest. I knew there was one. It's called the Wan Maha Wipayok, the Great Day of Sorrow. And on that day, protesters managed to end the rule of the military dictator. I need my glasses here. Tanon Kitty Kachon. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, Kitty Kachon. And it also was the time that marked the growing influence of the student protesters, which now there's a high percentage of the protesters are students. There were 500,000 demonstrators and 77 dead, 857 injured. So that was 47 years ago. But today, there's supposed to be thousands of protesters and 14,000 police. So that should give you an idea of how many protesters. The police and the government is saying, there won't be that many people there. Now, I could very easily... All right, say goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye. There you go. See you. Anyway, so during this uprising, they brought in the tanks, they brought in the helicopters, and they brought in the infantry because they needed them. They needed them. They needed to help the police. The police needed their help. 500,000 demonstrators. So who knows what today is going to be like. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, now obviously there are other things, like there's certain subjects you can't say, there's defamation laws, certain subjects you can't really broach, you know, you don't want to talk about certain subjects, you want to watch what you say, and you know, if you defame somebody, and I came very close once to doing that, and I was pulled up on it, because I went a little too far in their opinion about what I was writing about. But nothing happened. But recently they had the guy who, I don't know, you know, what the whole reality was, because I wasn't there. I don't have all the information like the police and the hotel and this guy, but it seemed like the guy went a bit overboard, and he was just being a bit difficult. But the hotel actually, they wanted him put in jail, and there was a risk of him going to jail. They came to an agreement. He's not going to jail, but these kind of things have many people looking at Thailand wondering, wow, what's going on? And so when I see some of the articles coming out about talking about tourists coming into the country and foreigners coming into the country, I kind of wonder where this country is headed. And I've been saying for a long time that I thought that this place was going to try to end up like a Singapore. Then I've also been saying, well, you know, maybe it's a little more like China. But I did see a couple of articles in the past day or two that led me to believe they're really cracking down. They really are being harsh. I don't know exactly where their mindset is, but I'm going to read an article. Now, first of all, the first article that I'm going to read, where's that from? The Manager Online. It's just a quick article. Basically, it's on foreign tourism and reopening. Now, I just talked to the two girls working here, Preo and Beer. Now, I asked them, what do you think about opening the country up and letting foreigners back in? And one of the girls said, I'm scared. I don't know if I want them to come in because I'm scared. I said, well, you know, okay, fair enough, I understand. But what about right now? You have a job. And although business is down here a little bit, not only foreigners, but also Thais, not as many Thais are coming here. You know, you have a job. What about all the people that won't have jobs? What about the people at the hotels and at the tour groups and the tour destinations, all these nice destinations that people want to go to? All these people, they'll be out of work, or they're already out of work. So I saw this article, just saw this one this morning. It says, foreign tourism reopening, key operator slams government for inconsistency, lack of communication, even damaging tourism. So it says, a leading figure in the tourism industry in Phuket has pulled no punches in slamming the Thai government for its inconsistent approach to the reintroduction of foreign tourists. Has even claimed that they are doing more harm than good at the moment. You know, that's a bit of a bold statement, but the hard-hitting comments to the manager from Torpong. So the name of the publication is Manager Online. The hard-hitting comments to the Manager Online from Torpong Wangsat Chai of the Love Andaman Company came after the first Chinese tourists were meant to arrive last Thursday, but were put off by security chiefs citing the vegetarian festival. Now, I did talk to these girls here also about this, and they didn't even know. They thought, oh yeah, the Chinese are coming. And I don't think either one of them were extremely happy that this was happening. That's all I'm going to say. But The comments also come amid conflicting statements from the TAT, that's the the Tourism Authority of Thailand, and the Tourism and Sports Ministry. Torpong said that the 8 October non-arrival debacle showed the hopelessness and the lack of coordination between the tourism industry, health ministry, TAT, and Phuket authorities. He suggested that they were not singing by the same hymn sheet. Miscommunication was rife. This had resulted in confusing Thai people and actually damaging their industry that they were trying to repair. He said that the people canceled their booking because of this. Why is it so hard to actually talk to each other, he demanded. We need help, not more damage. He came up with a 4-point plan to stimulate and expand tourism, particularly domestic visitors. One of his key points was the plea to the government and its ministries actually come to Phuket and listen to us. Just like in the United States, it does seem like there is a disconnect between the government, whether it's the Thai government, governments rather, whether it's the Thai government, the US government, whatever government it might be, there is some kind of a disconnect. But this goes to show that there are a lot of people that are frustrated. And like I said to these girls, you have jobs. So you're like, oh, well, you know, that's terrible. And they don't really give it any thought past that. You know, not many people do because they're busy living their lives. But if you're in Phuket, that place is a ghost town. I mean, I went to Pattaya twice, and, you know, there were some people there. There were Thai people there. But it's not enough to sustain the places that are mainly foreign frequented, like the bars. You know, Thais are not going in there to the bars, hanging out in mass. It's not how it works. Thailand was more fun for me 20 years ago. Too many tourists is increasing prices. Well, I don't think it's only the tourists. You know, there's such a thing as greed. There's also inflation. But yeah, for whatever reason, prices have increased here. And, you know, that puts people off. But also, you know, I hate to say this, but I think that the attitude of the government now is one that they want. I understand they want to protect their Thai citizens, but their attitude that the foreigners are to blame, and that you know, if you bring the foreigners in and one person has the virus, that they're going to shut everything down. I think it's a bit harsh. You know, I mean, if I had it my way, I'd be like, listen, open up and take your chances. You need to have insurance, get a test before you come in, wear a mask, and that's it. No quarantine, nothing. But let me read some of this is what really got me going. There was 2 articles. One is from, and they're basically the same. One is from the Daily News, the other is from the Bangkok Post. So from the Daily News, which was translated from Thai, not by me. Visit Thailand, but conditions apply. Tracking devices, set routes away from Thais, and COVID minders mooted. Thailand's health authorities are proposing yet another way of opening up to the country, or another way of opening up the country to foreign tourists. While tourism chiefs and the foreign ministry disagree about what to do, the health department are now offering yet another approach. This will provide grist to the mill for netizens that have said Thailand's attempts to open up reminds them of North Korea. Now, I think actually some of the things that they're proposing, in some people's minds, I don't think they're doing this intentionally, but I think it is almost worse than North Korea. Because in North Korea hasn't let people in. They just opened up. They're very guarded. They've always been very guarded. Thailand has been very open, and now they've closed it down, and then they're acting in a way that some people are saying reminds them of North Korea. So I think it's actually worse. Hey, what's happening? What's happening, Mr. Cowboy? So yeah, I mean, when you have a country that is very, very open and welcoming and accommodating from, say, the '60s up until the last few years, and now especially they're tightening the reins and it's not as open. I think it's worse than if you just have a country that you know is not going to be open, like North Korea. It's very difficult. You got to go on a tour group. You can go certain places. You can't go certain places. It was the same in Myanmar. I went to Myanmar. I've never been to North Korea, and I don't want to go, but I did go to Myanmar when they were pretty well shut down. I got in a couple of times. It was always questionable whether I was going to get the visa and all that kind of thing. And there were people that, there was one occasion where I know for sure somebody was following me. So let me go on here. Dr. Taret Krasnaira Wheatwong, Director General of the Health Service Support Department, has proposed the latest plan for short-term stay tourists. Here are the conditions that will allow tourists to perhaps leave their quarantine rooms. Number one, they will have to wear tracking devices to monitor their every movement. That alone, for me personally, if I was a tourist, I'd be like, no way, I'm not doing that. There's no way, I'm just not. That's just me, I wouldn't do it. Number two, they will have to stick to routes where other Thai people do not go. They must not veer off course at all. Now, I don't know how. I do not know how they're planning on doing this. Hello, everybody. Good morning. If you're just coming in, Sawadee Ka. A very interesting couple of articles, and this reminds me, this, open up, we need to open up, well, not yet, we can't open up, well, if there's one person, we're going to shut it back down. Reminds me of the stimulus package in the United States, where we're close to a deal, then they're bashing each other, and then it's like, well, we're not that far apart, well, we need to do it, no, we're not going to do it, we don't care. I mean, to me, it reeks of this. It looks similar to what's going on in the United States, and people are suffering because of it. Like I was saying to the girls earlier, they might not be suffering, but there are people in the tourist industry that are, many, and tourist-related industries that are suffering. So how they're going to get people to stick to routes where other people, Thai people, do not go, I don't understand how they're planning on doing that. And the thing is that when somebody comes to Thailand, they want the Thai experience. They want to see Thailand. They want to see Thai people. They want to interact with them. In fact, numerous people have said to me, the best times, the best streams that you've had, the best videos that you have had have always been when you're interacting with others, with other Thais. With Thais. I'm not Thai. When you're interacting with them, people want that. They want to see, hey, what's this culture like? Whether they're returning or it's their first go-round. Now, number three, this one, this would definitely, for me, this is a no-brainer. They will have to be followed around 24/7 by COVID minders to ensure they don't stray and are healthy. I don't really even know what to say about that, other than I personally would not do it. Maybe some people want to come to Thailand so badly that they're willing to go through this. For me, I can't see it. I just can't see it. So number 5, they will be now this, okay. I mean, they have the right to say this. They have a right to say anything they want. Yes, COVID minders. So it's strange. That's the best way I can put it. The fifth thing, they will be encouraged, they being the people entering, will be encouraged to do fresh air activities. Golf was mentioned in the daily news stories as a possibility. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want a government telling me or encouraging me what I should do. I don't want people telling me what to do. Who wants anybody telling them what to do? Most people don't like that. And so to be encouraged, okay, fair enough, encouraged, not ordered. But I think even doing that is too much. I mean, you don't need to encourage people. Personally, I think that maybe in the translation something gets lost. I don't know. I try to err on the side of the Thais because, they are trying to be safe. They are trying to protect people, and they have done a good job so far. Ordering somebody, encouraging somebody, I think that's the wrong way to put it. I think you need to say, we would hope that people would understand that the virus is more transmittable indoors, so that they would try to engage in outdoor activities and enjoy our national parks and play golf and other activities like this. I think how they word it is very important. And I think what they need is, I don't know why, I understand why they write it in Thai initially, but why is it released in English when the Thai government, I'm sure they have somebody who is quite proficient in English. So maybe they need to write it in Thai and then write it in English in a way that I just think that they can reword things a little bit differently. And, again, here we are talking about the U.S. and the difficulty with the stimulus package where they're negotiating, and it's not about the number, it's about the verbiage, it's about the specifics in writing. So, the words are very important. And now, so it goes on to say, despite these extraordinary restrictions, Dr. Taret is convinced that this is the way forward to kickstart the Thai economy and get the tourism ball rolling again. Well, listen, if you think that this is the way forward, please leave a comment. If you think this is not the way forward, please leave a comment, because I think it would be good to see just how many people agree that this is the way forward. I think that what's going to happen is eventually people here are going to realize, the way forward is either get a vaccine and then open up once people prove they're vaccinated, or you just open up and you take your chances and you socially distance and you make sure that people do socially distance and they're tested before they come, But for a tourist to come and stay 2 weeks in quarantine is a lot. And speaking of which, I'm meeting with Tom tomorrow here. He's out of quarantine, I guess yesterday afternoon. And all in all, he was, fairly happy, but he did say that although he's happy to get through it and he made it, it's a pain. Which, I understand it's going to be a pain. For somebody who's used to just jumping on a plane, this is how it used to be. If you're an American, you jump on a plane, you come into Thailand, that's it, you get stamped 30 days. You want an extension? 30 days. That's it, simple. That's how it should be. At least in most places. If you really want to attract tourists, you make it as simple as possible. Now, there are places in the African continent that, you may not even, for whatever reason, you're not going to get your visa. There are places it used to be that in Myanmar, it was like, hey, nothing is guaranteed. You see, this is the thing. There's a lot of people that will not come here, and I'm one of them. I mean, I live here. So my thing, too, is how are they going to differentiate? Let's say I go down to Phuket, and I want to mingle with the Thais. I want to go somewhere and I want to be in a Thai neighborhood. I want to go to a restaurant where there's Thais. I'm not sure about exactly what they mean about this because it's not all that clear. But if they mean you just can't really be around any Thais, then what's going to happen when somebody like me goes and I'm like, hey, I want to order some food. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Well, I live here. What's to stop a tourist from doing the same thing? Oh, well, they have minders to stop them from doing that. So, I think they're just throwing ideas out there and seeing what'll stick on the wall, what works, what doesn't. Maybe that's what they're doing. Kind of like, hey, we're going to give the people $2,000 a week or $2,000 a month and see if that flies. And then there's backlash. Oh, you're spending too much or something. They go, yeah, we better not do that. I don't know if that's what they're doing. All right, but let me continue here. He cautioned, okay, now here's the caveat, and it's very important because basically what he's saying is none of this is set in stone. He cautioned that all of this was subject to further discussion. That line alone enlightens you to the fact that nothing is finalized or they're not really giving serious consideration to it at this point. They're going to have to discuss this, but they're just trying to find their way, which is why I try not to be too harsh on the Thai immigration, Thai guidelines, Thai laws. I try not to be because there's always two sides to the story. And it's not necessarily about what I think. It's about in this case, it's about what they're planning, not what I think about it. What I think is irrelevant. Although I wouldn't come under those stipulations. I mean, I'll be honest. If they said, oh, every expat has to have a wristband and we're going to follow you, we're going to have a minder on you all the time, I'd be like, it's not a place I want to live. When pressed by Thai reporters about how much of the 14-day quarantine they would have to spend isolated in rooms, he was evasive. That was up for discussion between the relevant authorities, he offered. So again, it's going to depend on what the local authorities say, which again can be problematic because one set of people in immigration think one way, they interpret the rules differently, and then you've got another location which may be interpreted differently. I will say that Bumgun Chuck is attempting to come here on a retirement visa. Now, I guess his retirement visa that he had, his extension, I don't know if it was his extension or just his retirement visa, but I guess it's expired because he's in the United States. He looks on the website of the Washington, D.C. embassy, Thai embassy, and he finds a thing that says that he can come over or that there's guidelines for coming over here. So he thinks he can come over. Now I told him, I said, your chances are very slim because you don't have a visa. That's the thing. If he had a visa already, then maybe it would be easier for him to come. But also, he was saying to me, oh, it's just the LA consulate that is issuing visas for people to come to Thailand. And I'm like, that's news to me. Because as I understand it, very, very few people are coming in, and there are no commercial flights that aren't chartered or approved by the Thai government that are coming in. So it's not like mass amounts of tourists are coming into Thailand right now. It's not happening. Mass amounts of retirees, married people, they're not coming in mass. They have certain flights and certain airlines that are flying on certain days. 7 provinces. I thought you can get a from it. Well, you can, but not right now. They may not issue it right now. Which is if you're going to get a visa, you would think that most of the time your chances are very good you're going to be able to get it. In some places, not so much, but for a place like Thailand that is a tourist destination, you would think it would be somewhat easy. And, obviously you can't just fly over. You're not going to just fly over on a no visa entry. It's not going to happen. 7 provinces have expressed an interest in this latest model for Thai tourism. They all have the necessary health provision should things go wrong. They are Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai in the north, Phuket and Surat Thani in the south, Chonburi and Rayong on the eastern seaboard, and Buriram in the northeast. Elsewhere in the Thai media, it has been reported that Chonburi, where Pattaya is located, were particularly keen with the prospect of offering gastronomy tours and massage as a possibility. I think when it comes to massage, listen, a massage tour, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Gastronomy tour, again, I think it's a hard sell, man. You come and we're going to put you on a food tour or something like that. We're going to teach you how to cook, I just don't see it happening. What's wrong? What is wrong? Explain yourself, please. Thai Visa, this is where I got this from. I originally saw it. Thai Visa notes that this latest pronouncement only adds to the other confusion surrounding the reopening of Thailand. I'm glad they said it, not me. But, I think that this is one reason why, first of all, more people less people are probably considering living here at this point because of the uncertainty. At least right now during the COVID. Once the COVID is over, things might change, But I think that, a lot of people don't even want to travel. They don't want to get on a plane and travel halfway around the world to get here. So I think it's a really hard sell, Nobody seems to be talking to each other as each section of the authorities come up with their own version. Meanwhile, the silence from Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha is deafening, and the clamor of a majority of the Thai public, according to polls, to keep Thailand sealed could remain an overriding and decisive factor in a huge political hot potato. This is a worldwide hot potato. Tourists to North Korea are constantly followed about by government minders and not allowed to talk to locals or strays from set itineraries, we further note. Now, as I said a few minutes ago, when I was in Myanmar, and I believe it was my first or second trip. I think it was my second trip. I was staying at a hotel, I think it was the Park Hotel or the Park Royale or something like that. The first time I stayed at a very nice hotel, it was like $55, but it was like a 4-star hotel, which was considered to be very, very good, by Myanmar standards. It wasn't the Strand, but it was still very, very good and at great value. The next time I stayed at a different place, and I remember walking out, and I don't remember the name of the street, but I was walking down the street, and it was a big, wide sidewalk. It's over by the market, between the market and I think it's the Traders Hotel. And I'm walking down the street, and I see somebody out of the corner of my eye walking along, and I didn't think anything of it. And then I turned and went into an alley, and the guy followed me in there. Or I didn't know he was following me at the time. I turned around, went back, and then I saw the guy again. So I wanted to try something. So I kept walking, and I kept looking, and the guy was still there. So what I did was I slowed down, and the guy kind of came up, and he was close to me. I turned right around and walked the other direction. And he turned around and walked right by me, behind me again, followed me again. I turned right back again, right back around, walked, and sure enough, he turned around, and then I saw him kind of trying to hide behind these big poles. They're like, almost like the size of the poles over here to the right. These things here, not quite that big, but kind of like this. There was a building, and the guy was clearly standing behind there looking at me. So I went to Nanda, who I just met. I said, Nanda, man, this guy, I think this guy is following me. He goes, yeah, maybe, because, they want to make sure that you're not doing anything wrong. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, what is it they're looking to see if I do? Now, mind you, this is, I don't know how many years ago, 15 years ago, 18 years ago. But I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't even going there to shoot anything. And I was very careful about what I shot with my camera. I was, a bit nervous about it. But I don't think anybody wants to visit as a tourist in that kind of environment. I went because I'm me. I wanted to go there. And I figured I can go. But I didn't know. This was back with the FECs. I think it was the FECs, that's what it was, the coupons. You had to change your money. Whenever that was. It was right at the end. So that'll give you an idea how long ago it was. But nobody wants to come under that kind of a situation, that environment. Now, there's also an article in the Bangkok Post, and I don't see it, but it didn't say anything about minders. So maybe that says something. I don't know. Maybe they didn't mention it to the person from the Bangkok Post when they wrote it. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm saying it's not in there. Now, the title of the article was Looser Quarantine Eyed More Freedom to Move in First 14 Days. The Ministry of Public Health has proposed a new type of alternative state quarantine that will allow short-term visitors to travel to designated areas during their 14-day quarantine period in some selected provinces. A new type of alternative state quarantine was being discussed for short-term visitors in the provinces ready to open. This type of ASQ will allow tourists to travel to designated areas during the 14-day quarantine period instead of confining themselves to hotel premises, the doctor said. The new ASQ will come with terms and conditions to be discussed between government units and entrepreneurs. People in each of the provinces must be informed of the new ASQ and approve of it, the official says. Now, I don't know who they're talking about, people. He stressed the new ASQ must be based on safety and economic viability. I don't even want to touch that, economic viability. Foreign visitors must accept travel routes. Now, here's the thing that it starts to sound very similar to the other article. Foreign visitors must accept travel routes set by the provinces and must not veer off course. Most importantly, they come from countries with low COVID-19 risk and no local infections for 3 months. Okay, so, they've really narrowed it down to who can come in. And this is why I think it's so problematic. If you start, and didn't the WHO just come out and say, the WHO as in the World Health Organization, not that they're always reputable, but didn't they come out and say that the quarantines and the shutdowns, the lockdowns, were probably more detrimental than simply allowing people to come in and travel freely? I think that's what they said. That was just the other day. So what does that say? I mean, take it for what it's worth coming from them. But it does say something, the fact that they even release a statement like that. Tourists must test negative for the virus in 72 hours prior to departure and stay in home quarantine for 14 days before leaving their country. Okay, so they need to test negative for the virus 72 hours prior to departure and stay in home quarantine for 14 days before leaving their country. There it is right there. I don't make the rules. I'm just, stating them, reading this. You guys can make your own decisions from this, but I will say this. This really strikes me as strange. Okay, I understand. You got to test negative for the virus in 72 hours prior to departure. However, and stay in home quarantine for 14 days before leaving their country. So you're going to be in quarantine in your own country. How are they going to police that? How are they going to be sure that you stayed at home? What are they going to do? They're going to ask you to wear a tracking device at home in your home country, like in the United States? I don't think so. So there's one thing. Now, when you come in, you still have to quarantine. You're allowed more access to more places in the region, but you still are quarantined. You can't go out of these places without some kind of a permission. Let's see here. Some kind of permission. They must also book flights and accommodation through travel agents. So you can't book a flight or accommodation on your own. Listen, I can't imagine anybody doing it for a tracking device or having minders. Again, this is unprecedented. I don't see it happening. Now, what's kind of strange is that, they have this special tourist visa available. And the Chinese are able to get this. And guess what? Not one Chinese person signed up. Not a one. Now, this other thing, this last line that I just said, I'm baffled by it. They must also book flights and accommodation through travel agents. So you're going to pay, who knows how much you're going to pay for the ticket. But you can't go directly to the airline. You can't go and do some promotional flight if they have any, which maybe they don't right now, I don't know. But you can't go through a website online and you can't go through booking.com or Agoda or Kayak or one of these others and just get a place on your own. No, you got to go through travel agents. That right there is enough where most people are going to go, with all these other things, no way. So this is kind of like throwing out a $10 trillion stimulus package and expecting it to pass. It's not gonna pass. All right, proceeding here. In Western Oz, they're using tracking bracelet on people who the government thinks might break the rules. But how do they determine that? How do they determine someone might break the rules? I'll be honest, I don't know that it's, listen, this is not the only place doing these kind of things. So, it's very easy to say, oh, it's a Thai thing, it's a Thai thing. Obviously, it's a Thai thing because we're talking about Thailand. But there are other countries that are shut down. They're not doing anything. They're not allowing people in, and they're hurting. So, yeah, one way. And this is the thing. There is going to come a point where people are going to rebel. And it's coming. If something doesn't change, I think people are going to rebel. I'm not saying here. I don't know about here. They're already protesting and everything, but it's not necessarily about the COVID. I understand that they're aiming for the Chinese tourists, but to see the Chinese tourists, a lot of them don't want to come here. You know, I mean, if they're not getting that special tourist visa, they're not signing up for it. What makes them think that they're gonna be rolling in here by the thousands? I don't get it, you know, I don't really get it. Okay, so here he says again, the provinces which are ready to open must make sure that routes for foreign visitors will not be used by local residents. Recommended activities for tourists include wellness tourism activities such as massage, spa, and gastronomic tours. Now, that may sound good, but when you come here, I'm just asking because maybe it's just me. Hey, it goes without saying you're going to eat here. You know, you see, and you're married, so you know we're not talking about tourists. And Americans and British are high risk. I don't think they're going to let them in, not the tourists. Maybe they don't care about that. You know, hey, a tourist is a tourist. It doesn't matter where they're from. You know, someone might, one nationality might spend more than another, and all these things. At this point, I don't think they're saying we only want these tourists, aside from the Chinese. I think they just want people who aren't going to bring the virus in. But I think that's perhaps might be the wrong approach, because you're assuming that this is going to devastate the country, and it's already devastating it simply because they're not. Yeah, it's devastating it because they're not really opening up. They don't have enough people. You can say that domestic tourism helps, and in some places I would venture a guess and say it's helping some places stay afloat. But almost every single person I asked has told me they're hurting. They're hurting, they're scraping by, they're not doing really well. Now, I'm sure there are a few places that might be, but all in all, not going to happen. Massage, spa, and gastronomic tours. Listen, when I used to come, I used to eat here. Doesn't mean I wanted to go on a gastronomic tour. When I used to come, I'd get a massage here and there. You know, all kinds of massages. Spa, the only kind of spa I really ever get is a foot spa, which, you know, they work over your feet and get your feet looking nice and pretty. And that's about it. Now, here's the thing. The areas where foreign visitors can visit will be fixed. They are required to use tracking devices with representatives of... Okay, here we go. They are saying, this is the Bangkok Post article, and they are saying that you're going to need a minder. They are required to use tracking devices with representatives of agencies responding to COVID-19 traveling with them at all times. So you mean these people are going to have to go into the massage parlor, or they're going to be sitting outside the massage parlor waiting for me to come out? I'm going to go have my meal and they're going to be sitting along there with me? You know, I'm flabbergasted by this. I'm flabbergasted that they actually think people are going to do this. But hey, you know what? If it works, more power to them. I just don't think it will. That's my opinion. Hopefully I'm entitled to that. The doctor added that provinces eligible for the new type of ASQ must have adequate public health systems and hospitals with the capacity to treat COVID-19 patients. The hospitals must also be equipped with negative pressure rooms and laboratories. I wonder if they need, what are they called? You know, the iron lungs? What are those things called? I can't even, not the respirators, I'm blanking out here. And there's probably a fee for the minder. Yes, exactly. I think the China gravy train might end for Thailand. China's economy is going to take a huge hit. The decoupling around, plus their government is trying to control capital outflows. Yeah, I agree. Manashatwa. What the hell am I thinking of? The respirators, the iron lung thingies. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't believe it. Many provinces, most of which are tourism provinces, have shown an interest in offering the new type of ASQ, such as Chonburi, Buriram, Rayong. I don't know. I'm talking about the ones that they were talking about in the U.S. for so long. They said they didn't have enough of them. Chiang Mai, ventilators. Thank you. Listen, I was just saying yesterday, my mind is going slowly but surely. Memory is fading. I can't remember. My short-term memory is garbage. Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Phuket, and Suratani, said the doctor. Chonburi seems most ready for the new type of ASQ, judging from local entrepreneurs' enthusiasm and the province's experience in managing state quarantine facilities, according to the doctor. Now, something I was thinking about. How is this going to affect, let's say that they don't open up, or they open up and it's to very, very few tourists, and places continue to go out of business. It's wrecking the infrastructure that they have worked so hard to build up, the tourism infrastructure. Is it wrecking it to the point where it's going to be a huge pain in the ass to come into the country, even when they release, they stop having all these restrictions? What's going to happen? I mean, this is not even talking about any political issues or anything like that, and how they're, what they're doing with the protesters or what the protesters are after. And I'm not even talking about those things. And already you can see that the mentality is that if we want to get in, we being Westerners, until I get back without the hoops. Yeah. Exactly. Listen, I've been looking at Ecuador, really. This is not an opening, making it impossible so you don't come. Well, I won't say it's impossible, but it is a huge pain in the ass. I understand they're after the Chinese, but see, the thing is that a lot of people don't want to travel. And the Chinese too. And, the Chinese aren't stupid. And the thing is that they do need Westerners. I'm sorry. It's my opinion, and I'm going to stand by it. I believe it's true. They need Westerners. They need Western tourists. They may think they don't, but I think they do. They may agree with me. I don't know, but there's too many places on that. Listen, I know. I got a bucket list, 5 pages long of things I want to do and places I want to go that are not in Thailand. I was just saying this morning that, and I said it the other day, I'm getting bored with Thai food. I never thought that would happen. And I love Thai food. It's fantastic. But, does that mean I don't want to eat Italian or Mexican or Japanese or American? Or, make myself a nice, I've got this sauce or whatever as brown sugar sauce that I want to make up and use on my pork chops, I'm trying to just stick to the facts here, or what was written in these articles, and but I've said it before. Yeah, they did. But Peter, you sound like they only want the Chinese to come in. The Chinese are first, and then the Scandinavian countries are supposed to be second. And then after that, they'll see, assuming that they don't have one case of the COVID. Now, they already have cases of Thais coming in, bringing it in from other countries. So, I don't understand, yeah, I just don't understand it all. I'm just, this is kind of like the whole political scene in the United States now, where all I can do is shake my head. And, like, I don't even want to think about it all that much. And so the only reason I'm saying these things is because, listen, when it's done, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it. I have a family here. I'm here. And, I abide by their guidelines. I do my best to adhere to them strictly. Because once you start manipulating the system and trying to do this and do that, it gets problematic. You get Barker. Well, that's a good idea, actually. I think you get a lot of people then. A minder for each person in the party, Let's see here. The new type of alternative state quarantine is another way to get foreign tourists to help stimulate the economy, he said. At present, Thailand has 55 facilities, state quarantine facilities, 84 alternative state quarantine facilities, and alternative local state quarantine facilities, and 154 alternative hospital quarantine facilities for foreign patients and their caregivers. And while that's great, I think they're still at 59 deaths, which is fantastic. So maybe they're doing something right, but there's going to be a point, if I can't get another answer, then I'm not going to even, if it's for 30 days or 270, I don't want to go there and have to come back. Then I'm not going, even if it's for 30 days. You see, it's gotten to the point now where people don't want to jump through the hoops. Listen, it's a pain in the neck, for most people to go anywhere now. However, like Cambodia, they have a relatively simple method, and I don't see things taking off in Cambodia. I don't see thousands and thousands of people with the virus. And they come in, they pay their deposit, they get almost all of it back. From what I read and what I remember, out of $3,000, you get $2,600 back. Now, I don't know, do they give you the cash back? Do they give you a little check or something? I don't know how they do it, but I'm assuming they give you the cash. Only 5 cases in Melbourne, still lockdown, only 5 kilometers. Yeah, see, that's, unless you have a work permit. They want to make it look like they're trying to do anything. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Are they really doing something positive when the tourism industry is crumbling? And you have somebody in Phuket that I read the article about, he's complaining about it. And my guess is he's not the only person. I don't think it's going to help. I don't think devaluing the baht is going to help. Not at this point. Not if they still have all these guidelines. People do not want to jump through the hoops. There's a lot of people, they don't want to travel, period. They don't want to travel. And if you make it to where it's a huge pain in the ass, that's how they consider it, whether it's for safety reasons or whatever reasons, if you implement those guidelines, now they haven't done this, they haven't said this is final, they're just contemplating it. Like I said, they're trying to throw it up on the wall and see what sticks. I think that it's a stretch. I don't think this will work. I think they're going to need to make quite a few revisions. It may take, actually, what do you think would be the right approach dealing with the situation if you could decide? If I could decide? Well, where are you, Peter? Aren't you in Norway or something? I would make sure that the people test before they come in. and they are told that they need to socially distance. Denmark, sorry. And if you're in a high risk category, maybe they don't allow you to come. If you're over a certain age, sorry, you can't come. If you're 70 plus, you can't come at the moment until there's a vaccine or something like that. And you come in, and they do a test of this. And basically they open up, and they say, we're gonna take 500 people or something like that. We're gonna take people from, and I would open up from the lower risk places first, and then gradually, assuming things aren't that bad, then you open from the higher risk places. So while I think they're doing some positive things, I mean, obviously a lot of people haven't died here. I don't know, for whatever reason, the death toll is very small here. The infection rate is very small here. Whether they've had something to do with it or not, I don't know. But like I keep saying, where is the tipping point? Where's the point where you say, hey, listen, if 10 people die, but should we shut down? Or should we allow 2,000 businesses to go under because 10 people are going to die? And because those businesses go under, you got all those people and their families and their employees that are suffering. Let's just say that that's 100,000 people. So what do you do? If I was highly respected and had the answers, I would give it a lot more thought. I would sit down. I would look at more of the facts and these kind of things. I would pore over it. I mean, that's what their job is. That's what these people's jobs, that's what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to look at all the data. So maybe they know more than I do, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. But I don't think that, from my standpoint, who as a traveler, and who has traveled to a fair number of countries in my lifetime, and I've checked into some places that were fairly difficult to go to. This is not Bhutan. This is not a tiny little country who gets some tourism, but not as many as here. They can't justify doing all this if people don't want to come. People are not used to it. It's the same thing, like what I was saying before. If you're used to being able to come in, why would you want to spend all the money? You're used to coming in and it's hassle-free. Why would you? There are plenty of other places to go. They want your business. Problem is that Thailand can shut down as much as they want, but they won't get herd immunity. Well, that's another issue for the scientists, and I kind of think that when you have a very low death percentage, there's going to be a point where the people are going to start to get really pissed off, or they're going to suffer, and they're already suffering. A lot of, listen, if you've been following the streams and some of the videos, you should have seen that there are a lot of places closed in CASHAPP. There are places closed where I went in Nakhon Phanom, Bunkan, Nong Khai. Where else did I go? Kanchanaburi. I went to Massa. I went to all these places. There are a lot of places that are closed, or they're closing, or they're in trouble. So, if one or two people dies, I hate to sound, like I'm uncaring, but what about all the people that are suffering a slow torture and possibly death because of their lifelong work going in the toilet? You know, if it was 20,000 people died, 50,000 people died here, I might be more apt to say, wow, you know what, they better stay shut down. At this point, you know, I'm going to say I don't know, but if I was going to go with my gut, I would tell the older people, the higher risk people, no, you can't come yet. You know, maybe 65 and over, you say, sorry, and that sucks, but... And then the other people, it's like, hey, it's your responsibility. You're going to have insurance. You're going to have, you know, you're going to have to abide by our guidelines here. If we catch you, if we happen to catch you not wearing a mask or, you know, doing something where you're viewed as a risk, you know, you're going to get a fine, or you're going to get thrown out, or you're going to be tested on the spot or something. I don't know. You know, I'd have to really map it all out. I'd have to sit down and map it all out, and it's not my job. You know, not my job, man. They can figure that out. And I just think there are better options. That's I guess what I'm getting at. There are better options than what they are offering. But again, they said these guidelines, these new guidelines, need to be discussed before they can do anything. So who knows what they'll come up with. And what I've said in the past is that, just like in the United States, but in Thailand, sometimes it takes them a long time to get everything ironed out, but eventually they do. Most of the time. All right, let me continue here. Okay. They are required to be quarantined during treatment in Thailand for at least 14 days and have 3 COVID-19 tests. So this is the other thing. Not only do you need to quarantine for 14 days here, but you're quarantining at home, supposedly at home. How are they gonna govern that? You know. Okay. I don't dispute that. What I do dispute is just how dangerous it really is. Well, not only it's not the Thais that cancel it. The Chinese didn't even want to. They weren't even allowed. The Thais canceled. I don't think they canceled did they cancel the vegetarian fest? The festival, is that completely canceled? I don't know about that, but I know that they canceled foreigners coming to the event. They weren't allowed to come in because of that event. So yeah, maybe they did cancel. I don't know. But how many tourists do you know that are going to say, you know what, I'm going to quarantine at home? Okay. Yeah, I know. I already was talking about how you know, that's a bust. But how many people are going to quarantine at home and do it strictly? They're not going to cheat, which you know there's going to be people that cheat. How many people are going to quarantine for 2 weeks in advance of their trip, then come to Thailand and quarantine for another 2 weeks? That's a month. That's almost a month you're quarantined just so you can come into Thailand and play golf and get massages and do a little food tasting. I don't get it, okay? I don't understand it, but maybe, again, they understand something that I'm missing, or, you know, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let me go on here. So we're getting on. We have prepared 2,000 hospital rooms and 13,009 hotel rooms to accommodate foreign visitors on leisure and business trips. We are confident that international travelers will be able to visit Thailand from October 15th onwards. We are ready to take them, the Director General said. Quarantine is not the final solution. Even if you pass, they could have it COVID the next day. Yeah, exactly. I think he's saying that the Thais weren't going to celebrate the festival if... Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but I know that they canceled the Chinese that were coming in. Isn't the 14th instead of... No, it's not instead. It is... Where is it? Tourists must test negative for the virus 72 hours prior to departure and stay in home quarantine for 14 days before leaving their country. They must also book flights and accommodation through travel agents. And then here it says they are required to be quarantined during treatment in Thailand for at least 14 days and have 3 COVID tests. Now, they say treatment, so what does that mean? Is that treatment to find out if they have it, or is it treatment if they have it? It doesn't sound like it to me. You know, because who knows how long it's going to take them to treat it. So I think you're going to, and this is what they proposed before. 2 weeks before you come and 2 weeks once you're here. And, you know, expressing confidence that from October 15th, we are confident that international travelers will be able to visit from Thailand from October 15th onwards. We're ready to take them. They might very well be ready to take them. I don't know. That's tomorrow. I don't know. I just think, well, I don't know about that. I'm not advocating that, and you know, I can't see here. This got cut off in the printing. Let's see. Thailand by land, what? Water, and since the government started to generating over 200 million baht for the country, Thailand is in the process of preparing wellness quarantine facilities such as spas and massage parlors for medical tourists such as the elderly from other countries. Yeah, I don't understand. Okay, I'm not a doctor though, so you know, I just, to me, I'm shaking my head. I just don't understand it. The government launched a special tourist visa program on October 1st. Holders of the special visa will be allowed to first stay in the country for 90 days and then renew the visa twice for 90 days each time. Cabinet members will also have a mobile cabinet meeting on November 2nd to 3rd in Phuket to listen to the views of residents and business operators on how to help rebuild Phuket, which was badly affected by the pandemic. So they are, it looks like, whether it's because of the one guy who spoke out or whether they were planning on doing it, they are going down there and they're going to meet up with the people of Phuket. Now, who knows if they're going to meet other people and speak with them about it. Oh, I got coffee left. Now, something else that they're throwing out, you know, and like I said, listen, none of this is finalized. So it's kind of like you're writing, and you're brainstorming, and you write all these ideas down, you write everything down, and out of 5 pages, 1 paragraph is good, the rest is garbage. Or you're brainstorming and you come up with 10 ideas and only 1 is good. That's what they're doing, although they're doing it publicly. I mean, that's what it looks like. So, part of me wants to say you can't really fault them for trying. At least they're trying. You know. Yeah, I already said that. I said not 1 person signed up. So what does that tell you? They also have where it says foreigners offered new smart visa if they buy a condo in Thailand. Elite card holders offered work permits. Now hear this, listen to this. This is a short article. It's from Tansedak. That one's a hard one. Till I hear it. Thailand's government are coming up with yet more ways to try and woo foreign visitors and investors back to the kingdom. Now they're dangling a changed smart visa before the eyes of the condo built buyers and even promising to throw in an elite card if you spend enough in the real estate market. Tansetakit reported that the Board of Investment are considering adjusting requirements for a so-called smart visa. Okay, now hear this. Foreigners who buy an 8 million baht condo and don't sell it for 5 years could get one. That's about 250,000 US. I'm pretty sure that for 2 or 3 million baht, you can get a place in Pattaya or various parts of Bangkok. So I'm not sure why you want to spend that just to get the smart visa, but you know, who knows? This is coming from somebody who doesn't have 2 or 3 million baht to buy a condo right now. So you know, take that for what it's worth. In addition, there is now a scheme that if people invest enough in the real estate sector, they will be given a free elite card. The card would only be given to those that put enough into the market, however, and must be commensurate with the current charges for that card that is on sale for up to 2 million baht. What's going on, Dre? How you doing? I'm taking it you're out now, or you're getting out. And slowly expand and relax some restrictions, but must get, yeah, you're gonna have to do there's gonna have to be some kind of a test first. You know, and I think that's what they wanted to do with the Chinese, but I just don't see it. I wanted to get that paper. I don't know if that's a Thai paper or not, but I could buy an elite card cheaper than using the scheme. Exactly. I think though that you know that's the free elite card, but you can still get, it says must be commensurate with the current charges for that card that is on sale for 2 million baht. So you'd have to spend at least that much. Are you out yet, Dre? Are you out and about? I bet you're happy to be out. We're talking about the new scheme that they're coming up with. I don't think it's just a matter of if you have money, you're good to go. It's a matter of, do you really want to spend that money? How bad does somebody want to come here and be a tourist? To some people, I mean, you know, so basically, just like before, they are catering to the wealthy. Yeah. I think Singapore, you can take a test where you arrive at the airport and you're done. Yeah. I mean, you know. Yeah, and also, you know, Cambodia has the thing where, you know, you pay $3,000, that's a deposit, and it costs you about $400 for everything, and then you get the rest of the money back, assuming you don't have the virus. If you do, then that money goes towards the treatment. Listen, you know, if you're a retiree or you're married to a Thai and you really want to come in, it'll cost you $3,500, $4,000. You got to go through the procedure. You got to dot the I's, cross the T's. Okay, yeah, you can get in. Good chance you can get in. If you're a tourist, not so much. And, you know, this doesn't help where the majority of their funds come from. This doesn't help the people who need it here. The businesses, the families, the people working for these places. And I dare say that if you're a tourist, first of all, you may have the money, but who the hell wants to wear a bracelet everywhere you go and be followed around by somebody? What are they going to do if you go to, they're not going to allow you to go to a bar and, you know, hang out with some bar girl if that's what you want to do? What if you want to do that? You want to hang out with some chick. What are they going to do? They're going to follow you and wait downstairs? Well, yeah, he did tell me, he said, oh, I'm probably not allowed to leave until after January. And I'm like, let me know as soon as you find out, because I don't think it's going to happen. Because there's contradictory guidelines on the DC embassy website and also the consulate. They're saying that it's basically, if you don't have a visa already, a retirement visa already, they don't have that listed. So as someone who can obtain a visa and come. I don't know, man. I mean, listen, we're all speculating. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And let me tell you something. Most of the time, yeah, well, are they tourists or what are they? Are they on a new visa? I mean, I understand that. I mean, that's kind of what an embassy is they're supposed to do that. They don't always do it, but. I think compared to DC, well, that's the other thing that I was bringing up to Mr. Bumgun Chuck is that, as we know, as most foreigners who have interacted with the various embassies or various immigration departments or locations, sometimes it's not even the location that it's not what you're trying to do is not always location dependent. It may be person dependent. So you can go to Chiang Mai, speak to one person, he's going to tell you one thing, and you're going to be perfectly able to do what you want to do. But then the next day you go in and there's somebody different, and you tried to do it on that day, and they're going to be like, no, cannot. And this is the instability that I'm referring to. It doesn't happen. I mean, to be honest, I've only had really one problem where they got a little difficult with me. And, that was back when you didn't have to show the money. You could just get a certificate of income. And I brought that certificate of income. This is exactly what they said they needed. I brought it in. And the guy threw it in the garbage. He goes, you need to bring me your bank book. I said, no, that's supposed to be okay. No. You come back tomorrow. I said, okay. I had to come back the next day. And I was like, the thing is that I think that in Thailand, it's almost, I don't want to say it's expected. Maybe that's not the right word, but if you go in, I think that a lot of foreigners don't want to remember that, hey, you're in a different country, things are done their way, not your way, and the way they do it may not be to your liking. But they expect you to understand this. So if they tell you no, for whatever reason, you're not supposed to complain about it, you're supposed to just go and handle it. And they just figure if you can handle it, you can handle it. If you can't, oh well, bye. Now that creates some hard feelings. And I think for a country that is known as being so friendly, the people are so friendly and welcoming and all these kind of things, I think that now their tourism industry is this is my opinion, of course. It's only my opinion. I think that their tourism industry is mature, and because it's been mature for quite some time, travelers know the good and the bad. In the past, it was just, oh, they're so friendly and so they smile, and maybe they didn't know about the jet ski scams or, what a pain in the neck it is if you want to extend for some people and these kind of things. And I think the word is out now. I said it a long time ago, Thailand's changing, and I got all this, no, it's not, it hasn't changed at all, it's all this. And, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, I just was guessing. It seemed like it to me, it was a gut feeling. And they're going to continue to change. And this virus has forced places and countries and places, businesses, people, it's forced change. So this is, to me, this is not a normal. This is not a new normal. It will never be considered normal by me. And personally, I'll never forgive the Chinese government for allowing that virus to happen. You know, you can get your dog groomed, but no one can get a haircut. Well, Nancy Pelosi can get her haircut in a salon in the United States, and yet she doesn't seem to mind about what's going on with all the people, all the U.S. citizens that are having problems, and you know they can't open their gym, they can't go and get a haircut. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was wondering about you know, what about all the Indian tourists and all the Indian investors? You know, there are places in Pattaya that you know, they're still Russian, but you have Indians that are taking over there, investing, and what's going to happen? Time will tell. That's about all I can say. You know, I'm speculating, I'm guessing, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of hopefully they'll iron everything out, they'll figure it out, and everybody will be happy. But I'm not counting on it. I'm not counting on it. I know 2 people right now who are actually preparing to leave. One person's not sure. Another person is about 90% sure. He's like, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm done. I don't want this. I don't want to deal with this. When my visa is done, I'm splitting. He's not sure where he's going to go. He might go to Cambodia. He might go somewhere else. But he's done. You know. So, yeah, well, I don't think I've said any swear words yet in this stream. I don't know. I've managed to stifle that part of my brain. It goes on a tangent and it starts ripping into people or places. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, let me just finish this up. It's only a little bit more. Also, for the really well-heeled, if you plow in 31.5 million baht, that's $1 million, you can even get a work permit. So that's for somebody who wants to start a large business and, you know, they want to work here. All right, are there people that can do that? Yes. Maybe they're just hoping, hey, if we get 50 people to do that, that's $50 million. That's a lot of money. You know, like I said, I think they're just throwing stuff up and hoping it sticks. The Board of Investment website describes the Smart Visa as follows. Smart Visa is a new type of visa specially designed to attract highly skilled manpower, investors, executives, and startup entrepreneurs wishing to work or invest in targeted industries in the Kingdom of Thailand. It is what it is. I'm not doing any name calling. I'm refraining from that. I have my opinions. I think I've made myself pretty clear. And I've made myself I've made myself clear in the past about these things. You know, and I said it a long time ago. I said, I think that this is going to change. And I think now it's already changed to the point where it's going to be much different when things come. It's going to be much different anywhere. It's not just here. You know, I was talking about Ecuador with who was that? With one of my buddies. Listen, I think any person who has any bit of logic in their head knows exactly how the Chinese government is, what they're after, and personally, I despise them. I despise them. I despise them for what they did to Hong Kong and how they treat the people, how the Hong Kong police, which used to be considered a very good police force, as I was informed, now is can't be trusted. They'll beat you. They'll push. Listen, I don't forget that I was standing there on the side of the road and the guy ran by and shoved me and knocked me down. I don't forget that. It didn't hurt me. I was all right, but it pissed me off. I'm standing there with other people, other photographers. I wasn't standing way out in the street. When I had stood out a little bit and they told me to move back, I moved back. This was another instance. I don't forget these things. I don't forget seeing old women shoved, kids who are like 16 years old being slammed up against the wall in the subway. You know, all the tear gas. I don't forget all that. I'll never will. And so, you know, like, listen, nothing against the good Chinese people and especially the Hong Kongers and Taiwanese. I'll never go back there. I'll never go back. They can kiss my ass. The Chinese government can kiss my ass. I don't care about, and you know, they don't care about me either. Now, they might care about me if I went, just to make life miserable for me. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit too much. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. And I've said it before, I'm glad I'm older. And I feel for my kids and their kids. You know, when they have kids, assuming they do. You know, and you know, what's funny is that I try not to get too drawn into this. But, you know, it's everywhere. I don't have news on my phone. I already deactivated one of my Instagram accounts. I'm going to be deactivating my Facebook account and probably deleting it in the near future. And, you know, all of this, the information overload, the bullshit that goes on in the government, not only our government, as in American, the U.S. government, but around the world, the governments. You know, and I was thinking to myself, hey, remember when I used to be pretty carefree and happy all the time? And, you know, now I get irritated by stuff. I get irritated more easily about, not necessarily here in Thailand, about Thai things. It takes me a little time to stew on it here. But because I know my way navigating around the system here. But when it comes to life in general, and I look at any news going on and things like that, it's frustrating to see what's happening to the United States. You know. Then you see the news and, you know, it's, and you see how the media leans left or right, or, you know, it's not about the facts anymore, and you've got to weed whack your way through the facts, through the bullshit to find the facts, you know. And you know, I've said it in the past. There are times I just go, man, I want to be in a cave. Now, tomorrow, I'm gonna be here at Starbucks. I don't know if I'm gonna stream. I might stream because I'll be talking to Tom. I'm gonna see if he wants to talk about his experience getting over here and what it was like in the quarantine, what it's like to get out, what he thinks holds, you know, what he thinks the future holds in store for Thailand. I may stream, I may not, I'm not sure, and it also depends on if he wants to. Usually he's pretty accommodating, but I don't know. Tomorrow's my birthday. I didn't really want to do anything considered work, or, you know, it depends on how I feel when I wake up in the morning. Like I said before, I already celebrated. The wife's not here. She'll be back in a couple days. Kids are at school. You know, I'm alone. You know what I mean? I'm alone at home. So, you know, I can stay at home and sit in a box. That's my, you know, where my office is. Or I can come out, and I haven't seen Tom in, it's been like, I don't know, 8-9 months. So, it'll be good to see him and listen to what he has to say and all that kind of stuff. So I may stream and have a little chat with him tomorrow. And then I still do want to go down to Khao San Road and sort of Rinpoche, see what's going on down there. And I'm formulating another list, and I'm trying to make sure I don't lose it. It's going to tell me who's naughty and who's nice. So that's what's going on. If you're somebody who loves Thailand, now is a difficult time. I'm going to put it that way. When I was talking about Ecuador, though, one of my friends is there right now. He has a place there. And there are some other people I've been looking into online, a handful of websites. I didn't hear anything about the COVID, but my buddy works with people. He communicates with them online from Ecuador, and he said that there are places in Ecuador that are quite bad with the COVID, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know. He would know better than I, but that's what's going on. Let me see here. Take a picture of your list and keep it on your phone. Yeah, and then what happens is my phone gets too full of videos and photos, and I go, all right, I'll transfer it to my computer. Then I lose it. That's what happens. Actually, that's a good idea, but what was I going to say? I have a lot of video of Alex practicing and me also. Well, better better is it's all relative. Better how? Better is with regards to the COVID and how it's handled. Well, I guess if you are here or you live here, if you're a Thai or somebody who lives here, probably a better place. If you're trying to get into the country, probably not. The United States, I think you can get into the United States fairly easily, especially if you're an American. So there's a lot to think about, and listen, I said it before, most people are too busy to focus on this all the time, think about it all the time. I don't want to think about it all the time. It's draining emotionally and mentally, psychologically, whatever. It's draining to constantly think about it. But I will say this. Every time I go out, I have to prepare myself, and I have to prepare because I have to make sure, do I have my mask? Where am I going? Do I have to have my bag now because the government says that they aren't going to give you plastic bags anymore, but then it's a constant thing. I forgot my bag. Yesterday I went to the grocery with Nicholas. I told Nicholas, hey, we're going to need to get a bag. Okay. Then we left and we forgot the bag. So it was like, okay, I'm going to spend an extra 5 baht. It doesn't sound like much, but when you go to the grocery, every other day or so, it adds up. And it's like, wait a minute, so I spent all this money on these reusable bags that I don't reuse. What's the difference between the plastic? Is the plastic because it goes into the dump and then, it doesn't deteriorate? Okay, I can understand that, but again, another tipping point. And so, coming out, and now if you look, you can see here they're working on in the background, you see the scaffolding straight ahead, all the wooden, it's like bamboo and metal, the scaffolding straight ahead. That's to hold up the ramp that cars used to come off of and go down, would go down farther, and that was another way when you can just drive right out of the parking lot. They don't have that anymore, and obviously they've cut it off because they're building the SkyTrain. So, there's a lot going on here. It's just like, I hate to say this because this is what I thought when I first came here, when I first went to Cambodia and Vietnam, and also to Myanmar, is that it's not so much in Myanmar, but it's like organized chaos. You have all these things, they're building, they're doing things, and all this is going on in the middle of a pandemic, and some people are, listen, you go walk down the street, nobody on my street where I live is wearing a mask. Now, they may have a mask on that's down by their chin, but when they go into somebody's little shop house or their little market, or they're buying some coffee or food, they're not wearing their mask. So... So the mall's getting ready to open up here. Apparently there is a new, well, I hope so. I don't know. And, I don't know what kind of chaos there's going to be because of it. There's going to be more people. And I don't know if it's going to change the neighborhood. All I know is I'm in a little area that's probably not going to change. So I'm all right for a little while. But I can tell you that I'm getting a little bit tired of the house we live in. It's getting run down a little bit. And I have to talk to the landlord for a number of reasons today. But that's where we stand. My dog better appreciate me more for spending all this money to keep her with me and not leave to Ecuador or Albania or South Korea. Yeah. I'm thinking that if I do a stream from home on Sunday, I may bring Sid in. I do like the little thing. He's a cool little guy when he's mellow. But when he's not mellow, he's a nutcase. My cat is a nutcase, or my wife's cat. And my wife, most of the time she'll call every other day or something like that. Sid is cool. She'll call every other day and, speak to me and the kids. Hey, what's going on? Everything all right? The usual. Miss you, blah, blah, blah. But now she's calling every night and texting Nicholas or myself all the time. What's Sid going? Have you fed him? Is everything okay with him? And I'm like, ugh. Yeah, they have. And Sid kind of just sat there. And the dog was kind of like looking back and forth, wasn't sure what to do because Sid wasn't scared of him. So we're going to wait for him to get a little bit bigger. And then we're going to, let them interact. But right now we have the door, the screen door, the metal screen door that separates them. And that's perfect because I think Sid is a little naive as to what can happen to him. And, he is a cool little cat. He's a nutcase, though. If I was cooking on the kitchen table, I'd have to put him in his cage because he'd be nuts. He'd try running up on the table, jumping up, probably stick his nose in the wok. Yeah, well, he knows when it comes to me, he knows, don't mess with me. He knows that. He's got the feeling now, and he knows who's the boss. See, how do they get in? How do these people get in? Sorry, cannot. Every single time. Never fails. There's always a couple people that try to get out or try to come in when the door's locked. They never left. They were sleeping there trying to pull a bad Santa. Anyway, what I was going to say is here in the mall, Nicholas told me that there is now a Mexican restaurant. You can't come in. And they look like they're Chinese. They're not Thais. That's what gets me. If you had to move, what area would you consider moving to in Bangkok? If I moved from Bangkok, I probably wouldn't live in Bangkok. If I was moving, I probably wouldn't move in Bangkok. I'd leave. We'd go live down by some beach or something. I don't know. You know? Listen, my kids are getting older. Alex is already talking about getting his own apartment. You know, Nicholas is trying to decide, does he want to go to university? Does he want to go in the U.S. military? There's a lot going on, you know, so this is the life and times of an American in Bangkok. I'm already getting to be look at, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'm going to be alone. You know, you think I want to come to Starbucks on my birthday? Not really. You know, it's not, I really don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I want to hang out. But it'd be nice to hang out with the wife and kids, you know, and, you know, have a nice birthday dinner. It's just another day. But listen, if I make it till tomorrow, I'm 58, and in 6 more years, well, thank you very much. You must have been watching that guy's stimulus channel, Charles. Thank you very much, because he always says that you are amazing. And I always go, no, I'm not. I'm not amazing. You know, I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude. You think you missed it? Well, what I was going to say is, you know, in 6 years, I'll have been here half my life, if I can make it that long. Last minute surge of super chats. Thank you very much, man. Wow, thanks a lot, man. Well, thank you, thank you. Certainly, I could eat some cake. Oh God, yeah, I know. I'm getting old, man. I think I was 51 when I started. Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying, listen, I'm gonna meet up with Tom tomorrow. Haven't seen him in a long time. Well, thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. I hope you're well there. And good luck for all of you today. Maybe I will stream, but I'm gonna meet up with Tom. I'm sure he's gonna have a lot to talk about. Yeah, you know, he's you know, he's fairly interesting, at least for a few minutes. Kind of like me, but you know, after a while, it's just another day. I'm not gonna have a care. Listen, the only reason I go down that far is good boxing too. Davis versus Santa Cruz. Oh yeah. Man, I just don't. I don't even watch boxing anymore. I'm gonna watch Tyson and Jones, because I was watching Jones on a little clip about him on Joe Rogan. He said he's walking around about 210, and I suspect Tyson's gonna be around 225. So they're not all that much different in size. I still think if Tyson hits him once, he's gonna smash his face in. I didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched a little bit of it. I like listening to Roy Jones because I respect what he's done. You know, really. You know, like most fighters, he's fought a little bit too long. But that doesn't mean that he can't beat Tyson. I mean, he can, but I don't think he will. And I think if he caught a young Mike Tyson would have destroyed him in like Spinks. He would have just absolutely just obliterated him. Yeah, and you know, Jones was talking about how fast he is, and he is fast, but he's not nearly as fast as he used to be. And I dare say Tyson will be able to take 3 or 4 of his punches to land one. And if Tyson hits you, I don't care how old he is. if George Foreman hits you right now, if he hits you with a semi-good shot, and he hits you on the temple, that's it. You're done. You know, your fight's over. Wow. Thank you very much, Gennaro. Thank you, Tumat. Happy birthday, Tumat. Tumat. Well, I appreciate it, you know, really. I wish my channel would grow a little bit. Maybe if I did more videos, it will. But I do appreciate the people that I have and the core group that has been watching for quite some time. So, yeah, I appreciate that. That's okay. That's okay. I don't need that extra penny. Yeah. I gotta always keep going. That's the thing. But I will say that it's on my way. My iPhone slider works. I will say that I was just saying. I don't remember who it was, who I was talking to, but I was saying that I don't enjoy traveling as much as I used to. And you know the reason. First of all, I'm older. That's one reason. The second reason is because it's more of a pain in the ass to travel. I mean, even here in Thailand, you still need to, you can't come in, dude. 11 o'clock. You got 9 minutes, buddy. How are they getting in and then they can't come into Starbucks? It's so funny. I gotta laugh. One is because I'm older. Two is because it's more of a hassle. Even here, you know, you got to go through and you got to take your shoes off. So I always wear flip-flops. You always got to take your shoes off. Well, it might be because I was a little bit late. You got to take your shoes off. You got to take your belt off. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to go through, you know, the rigmarole. In the old days, when I first started traveling, there was none of that. You just go through. Now it's not quite so easy, you know, which makes it less enjoyable. I already said hello for you, Gennaro, when I was talking to the girls earlier, because I was the first person here. There was nobody in here, which is kind of how I like it, because then I get to talk to them for a few minutes and, you know, see what's going on with them, see what's going on with Starbucks, see what's going on in Thailand, you know. One of the girls said, well, if Starbucks shuts down, I'm going home and I'll, you know, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll work with my sister. She has a clothing company or something, you know. She's here. I don't know where she is. She's standing behind the counter or something. I don't know. Now watch, this guy's gonna try to come through. Watch. Hello in Scotland. Thank you very much, Henry. Appreciate that. Wow. Now maybe I can afford a cake. Although I had to laugh. There's Preo. Say hello, Preo. Hello, Preo. Yes, you lock them on the inside. Now they're open. Everybody, please come inside. Hello, welcome. Customer too much. Good luck for you, Mr. Henry. I hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. You know, I don't know if you know this, but Steve, my pal Steve from Steve's Kitchen, I think he just crossed the border a couple days ago from Scotland. He was walking through Scotland from, I don't know, what is it, Jogs, Land's End or something like that. I forget what it is. Hello, Hong Kong. Yeah, I don't remember where he said he was starting, but he started. He did some long walk, and he was walking through Scotland, so he walked a long way. Anyway, good luck for you. Thank you very much. She was getting ready to open the door up. Oh, I have to open the door. It's already open. You know, I sent some, before we go, I sent some coupons. This boxing guy that I know in Hong Kong, very nice guy, Jay, he gave me some coupons to use. He had these coupons. He said, hey, just take these coupons. I'm not going to use them or whatever. Take these. I don't remember how much it was. It was like $100 Hong Kong or something like that. And I was going to use them the next time I went back to Hong Kong. And then, now I'm not able to go back to Hong Kong. So I sent them by mail to Simon, the big guy, the refrigerator, who is still there. I sent them like 3 months ago. Never got to him. First time that's happened to me. Everybody gets their stuff, but he didn't get his. I don't know why. And, he's not BSing me. He didn't ask me for them. I just sent them. So, it's like, why didn't they get there? I wonder why. I wonder if somebody in a Hong Kong post office decided to take those coupons for himself or something. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway. All right, well, I think maybe we should call it. Time to go. Time to say goodbye. Time for me to fly. I hope we had a nice little spirited conversation today. It does give you some things to think about. Keep an eye on what's going on. I'll keep an eye on it. Who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll figure something out. And people who want to come here will be able to come here. They'll be able to do so. That's all I can say. So thank you once again for all the contributions. Thank you for contributing to the conversation. Thank you. Thank you. And check tomorrow. There's a chance, 75% chance I'll stream tomorrow, just because I think it'd be good to speak with Tom and see what's going on. But I need to talk to him first. Maybe I'm going to talk to him later today. Maybe we start at like 9:30, and just because it gives me and he and I a chance to talk off camera for a little while. But that's all I got. That's all I have. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok, in case you don't know. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. Hopefully it'll be worth your while. Please click thumbs up, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it. What's the best way to open up here? Or should we just stay shut here? Do you really want to jump through the hoops to come into Thailand, or is it too much? Let me know. And I'll see you probably tomorrow, maybe not, but probably so. So, Choke D, Jerkin Mai, all that good stuff. I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. See you later.